Hey, you are welcome to Rabbit Palace and more, where we discuss rabbitry and we try as much as possible to be educative enough so as to help improve our various rabbitries. Today we are looking at force feeding your bunnies stroke rabbit case or babies. As rabbit farmers or aspiring rabbit farmers, one of the issues we encounter as rabbit farmers is your rabbit or your doe not trying to feed the bunnies, especially when it litters plenty, when the babies are many. You know, the rabbit the breast nipples usually are either 6, 7, 8. I have not really seen 9 nipples before, but usually from 6, 7, 8. Yes. So you usually realize that, but the rabbit can give birth up to even 10 or above. For instance, this harlequin you are looking on your screen, it gave birth to 10 bunnies. So in this case, the babies are even more than the breast nipples. So there's a tendency of some of them feeding well and others not feeding well, depending on the strength of the bunnies. So it becomes like survivors of the fittest. And we are not in a jungle in this case because we want all the bunnies to survive. And sometimes too, when there are many like that, because of the pressure on the doe or the rabbit mother, it becomes difficult for it to feed. And before you realize, sometimes it can even lose appetite when you discover that you can inject it with a multivite to help it. And sometimes too it becomes resistant to the bunnies. Anytime it sees the bunnies, it is running to the opposite side. So but many of them becomes very good mothers, especially first week of delivery, because that time they are still very small and then they have not even developed fur yet. So it becomes very easy. They take like 3 minutes to 5 minutes to be well fed. So and then when you see that the sideways of their tummy is up, they are full, and then within 3 to 5 minutes they are okay. But second week going, when they now need to eat much, this time around they can consume more. That is when many of the mothers tend to run away from them, because they suck them a lot, and then they even tend to also lose weight and all that, though they are even we feed them well too. So when they are resisting, then you see that the bunnies too at this stage too can't eat. So what you need to do is that you need to force it to breastfeed them. So if you put them in the litter box and hold it and still it is resisting, this is the way you should do it. As you can see how we have held the ears, and then getting to the tail part, we have held the back legs also together so that it can lie horizontally in this position, so that all the breasts will be exposed for them to suck. As you can see being displayed on your screen, one of the issue too is that some of them too are very good mothers, others too are not good mothers. So if you notice that it is not a good mother, fostering can also, maybe we'll do a video on how to foster, where you take some of the bunnies, if they give birth around the same period, you can take some of the babies of one and give to another, so that the one that is not a good mother, so that you can recross it, or you can allow it to rest. But in this case, some of them too, they will remove fur nicely to cover them, the bunnies, when they deliver, so that to prevent them from cold. But some of them too, they will remove the fur just a little, and others too will not even remove at all, and they will deliver. So what you do is that one of the importance of removing the fur is that it exposes the breast nipples for the bunnies to see, so that they can suck and feed well. And another too is that the bunnies also need the fur to cover them as a way of protecting them from cold. So what you do is that when they are not they give birth and they themselves have not removed enough fur from down to expose the breast, you can hold it and then you remove them yourself. And then, because when it gives birth, the fur becomes very soft. When you touch it small, then you see that they are removing from the skin. So you can remove it yourself and then use it to cover the bunnies, so that you prevent them from unnecessary cold, and to also expose the breast so that they can suck well, because many of the mothers are always resistant. especially when the bunnies are many. As you can see, this one too, that's an English spot. It didn't give birth to many, but when they are getting to this stage, as it's like they are putting pressure on it, on her, and she's resisting them. So the best way to help them, because the ultimate aim of you, the farmer, is to ensure that all the bunnies grow well, they grow up successfully. You don't want to lose them, so you have to ensure that they eat. When you go and their tummies are very, very down and they are looking slim, it means they are not feeding well. So what you should do is that you have to hold it down like that. That's what we call force feeding. You force it to feed them. You hold it down. One person can do it, or two people appropriately. One can hold the ears and then one the back legs. Then you stretch it a bit so that they can all have access to the nipples to suck. And they take like at this stage, they are about a week. They are about a week old. So at this stage they will need like up to a maximum 6 to 7 minutes to be okay, to be well fed. So you just hold it down like that, 5 to 7 minutes, and then they are well fed. It helps them in a way. So you have to consider adopting this method where you realize that the bunnies are not always well fed. As you can see, at this stage they are 15 days old and they are running around. So at this stage force feeding is not necessary. Even if they are not fed, you can put a formulated feed for them. They can feed themselves, or even dry grass, which is hay, or you can get some vegetables, especially bitter leaves, which is also an antibiotic for them. It is good for them. They can eat themselves. But at this stage, eating themselves is not still adequate because they cannot adequately feed. They can be chewing a leaf and then a number of times, but it will not cut. It means the teeth are not yet that strong. So feeding, the mother breastfeeding them is still necessary. So if you notice that at this stage they can eat a little, but still they are growing lean. Bye bye.